Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kitamura. Yeah, long time no see.
Long time no
Yeah,
see, yes, indeed.
it has been more than 6.5 years.
Yes,
You know, we will try to remember what's going on. 6 years ago. At that time, frankly speaking, Sino-Japanese relationship was not good. 6 years ago.
Okay, yes.
Right. Yeah, but now it seems to be look a lot better. So, are you optimistic about what's going on?
Well, since 1972, it's already how many years? Quite long years. And I recall, and we could recall that 80s was the excellent decade because China and Japan had common objective. China needed economic development,
Exactly.
and Japan assisted. So two countries had a common objective and worked very well. So that's a golden time. Then after 90s, difference widened in terms of security, in terms of some other national interests and so on. So the point is how we could focus on common objective, common interests. It seems that now it looks at two countries trying again to find out those common objectives. So I'm rather optimistic that there are many things that where the two countries can find common objectives.
Yeah, but on the other side, we have to see the framework. Between our two countries has changed. If you mention, compared with 1970s, 1980s, at that time the framework was a Cold War. That was the time of competition between the United States and the former Soviet Union, and Japan, China, Europe, United States were all more or less on the same front, right?
Right.
Yes. But now the framework has changed. China and the United States, they are competing on a global level strategically, and Japan is more or less strategically, politically on the side of the United States, which is very natural. But geographically, we are neighbor countries, so which makes our bilateral relationship to be complex.
Exactly, and Asia, I think, faces a kind of turning point of the regional order, and so-called Pax Americana, and going to be something new. So the China and Japan, two major players in Asia. So the two, not just for China or for Japan only, but also for this region, and the countries expected to work together to find some, the so-called regional order.
So talking about the regional order, so what kind of regional order could you imagine for the next decades, for example? Could we imagine some kind of order just like European Union, or like North America, NAFTA, or something else?
I would say a mixture of the European integration and Southeast Asian integration, so-called ASEAN. So two cases of regional integration, which are different each other, and Europe, has developed quite a good level of integration, although it faces a big problem.
Yeah.
But Europe has, achieved quite a lot, and it's good level of regional integration. And Southeast Asia is a different, course.
Very much.
They try to maintain their own sovereignty. On this basis, they try to integrate the region in their own way. So what we can see is somewhere between Europe and Southeast Asia. And Southeast Asia is too weak as regional integration. It has to be a bit more, and better collaboration.
In Syria, we have ASEAN plus one, ASEAN plus three. From my point of view, or my dream is our three countries, China, Japan, and South Korea, we should be the driving forces of the integration. But of course, had not been the case. Maybe largely due to political conflict or whatever, and we left fully up to the ASEAN, which is weak, to be the leader of this integration.
That's a sort of geopolitical reality. We have to face the reality. And as I just mentioned, that because no close unification between three countries, and ASEAN has its own role. And ASEAN has that's the competitive edge of ASEAN. So it's a bit, twisted reality of regional order. And first, the China, South Korea, and Japan should get much closer in many areas. And then ASEAN can play its own role. And US also can play its own role in Asia. So all those, the, let's say, advantages or the merits each country and each region has can be combined if there's political will.
Right, but if you compare European Union with ASEAN and with East Asia, now the big difference is when Europe began to be unified, for example, to the European community, they have the same ideologies, they have the same strategic interests, they have the NATO, everything is similar. They have a common enemy, which was the Soviet Union, and we are totally different. Now we are, apart from the fact that we are neighbors, we are very different. Not to mention, we still have the competition between China and the United States, this geopolitical conflict. So that's why my feeling is the challenge we are facing too is even more than what happened in Europe 70 years ago.
You're quite right. That's why I say what I see in the future is somewhere between Europe and South Asia. And European case, yes, they have a common security umbrella, but here in Asia, we do not have. But we could do something to kind of be closer even in area of security. But before that, we should build up many layers of cooperation. We have common agendas, environmental, protection, and first economic integration. And there are many other areas for cooperation. So that if we could build up such, thick layers of cooperation, that could be a good platform, even for building up some sort of sense of security each other.
Oh, sense of security.
Yeah.
In which format could you imagine?
Well,
sort of
let's
security
say
architecture.
The confidence building among nations.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, security is a tough issue. It's a national interest.
Sure.
It's army and competition and so on. So that there's a hard core, but we could start from softer core. The cooperation in many areas and the environment protection is one example.
Rescue.
But
example,
moving into and rescue cooperation and the dialogue among armies and the crisis management system, then could move into a little by little and to a closer cooperation. So may not reach the hardcore so quickly, but let's put it aside hardcore for the time being. But could start some other areas for cooperation.
So in this sense, I'm quite happy to see what's happening now between China and Japan. Now, at least this hostility which happened years ago has been coming down at least. But do you think this coming down of tension could be sustainable?
Well, it depends how much we have common objectives. If that, the common objectives are strong enough, we could forget about others.
So what kind of common objective could we have in mind?
Economy is first.
Economy
First. And the difference between now and the past is that people's communication contacts and information sharing. This is a big change compared to 20 or 30 years back. And people now know more each other and see each other and contacts and information sharing. And this could become a good basis for building up some sense of, some sense of community, some sense of the security.
Yeah. That's something which is very important. On the other side, what makes me to be quite confused about is what's happening now between Japan and South Korea in terms of trading, in terms of semiconductor industries, which actually shouldn't be the case, right? Because you guys, you're allies, you are both friends of United States, and you are both democratic countries, right? But how about all of a sudden this hostility, which is sitting very deep? It seems to be on both sides. Even the United States seems to be not in a position to settle the conflict.
Right. You know,
Tell me how and why and
well,
where
I
is the solution?
could point out two areas. First is that the lack of confidence. Lack of confidence on both sides.
You have a lack of confidence.
Lack
of
of
course,
confidence
in terms
on
of history
both
and lack
sides.
of confidence.
History is
Right,
one,
right.
and this is not just a new thing.
Yeah.
It has been, a long time an issue, and confidence how to build up, confidence in each other. And the second is that domestic politics, and Korean political situation. It's quite a big domestic problem. Always fighting viewing if done right. And Japan is always a good target of using from both sides as a point of getting support from domestic politics and from domestic people. So that the issue is partly diplomatic issue and also domestic issue, and sometimes largely domestic issue. So this is the area where Japanese side as a foreign policy cannot address the effectively, and I hope that the Korean domestic politics will become more harmonious, and all the previous presidents.
Yeah, yeah.
They go problem after and they stepping down in the office. So this is one. I do hope that the Korean side could make their domestic politics more harmonious, and so that they have a better position to the encounter with other countries, especially the neighbor Japan. And the Japanese side, well, it's very close neighbor. The history of 2,000 years, and we have a lot of Koreans. And in the past, and the Koreans, they were very advanced. The leading figures in Japan. So we are close. We are close, but the domestic politics and the always the wondering whether we do have a good confidence in each other, and it has been a long time an issue. So that it's not the issue that we could overcome in a year or two, but it takes longer time, I think. And it also depends on the future figure of the East Asian and order, how we could integrate the Japan and South Korean relations in a wider regional context, so that the such an effort to make a better regional order is also another area I think we should address.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually quite a pity if we try to look at what's happening between South Korea and Japan. On the other side, if we try to compare about what's going on between France and Germany, they also have domestic policy, but after the end of the Second World War, they never had such kind of similar scenario happening between France and Germany, using domestic policy try to take their neighbor country as their target. Maybe this time that was the history of 19th century. So this part of the world we're living in still has a long way to go.
Yes,
indeed.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Mr. Kitamura.